want to essentially line up your dominant hand to have a continental grip, the same grip that we serve with. A lot of people like to essentially break this down as if you were to hammer a nail into a wall with the side of the racket. This is how you would hold it. I think the more accurate way is to align this bevel with this bevel right here, this side bevel, with your dominant hand index knuckle. Now, your non-dominant hand is going to take a different grip. So the index knuckle of the non-dominant hand is actually going to sit on this flat bevel on the opposite side of the racket, creating a combination of a continental grip on the dominant hand and an eastern grip on the non-dominant hand. Okay, so like we discussed in our forehand one-on-one video, the first thing that we want to do is initiate the split step and the unit turn all in one fluid motion. So as soon as you see your opponent strike the incoming ball, we're going to split step, turn the shoulders, hips, feet, all in unison. We want to make sure that our lead shoulder is pointing towards the target as we're moving towards the ball. So again, we'll go ahead and do our split step, unit turn, and with that, we'll see if the strings of our racket point to the side fence naturally. All right, folks, so our next checkpoint, once we are in our unit turn and our body is fully turned where the lead shoulder is pointing towards the target, we're gonna go ahead and move towards the ball and make our adjustment steps and plant our feet. So at the closed stance backhand, the most simple approach to the two-handed backhand, we're gonna make our adjustment steps, land on the trailing leg. Then from there, you're gonna go ahead and drop the racket below the height of the ball, using the butt cap as an aid to point towards your target. Once you've made a commitment and planted your feet, you're going to go ahead and initiate a forward weight transfer with your lead leg stepping towards the target. And once you've done that, you want to make sure your contact point is set up so that it's not too far in front of your body, but essentially right next to your body. The two-handed backhand is much different than our forehand mechanic. But with our forehand mechanic, we're about a foot in front of our body, right? With a semi-western grip. Our backhand mechanic, with this simple combination of a continental grip for the dominant hand and eastern grip for the non-dominant hand, we're going to want to make sure once we get to our contact point, it's right alongside the body, maybe slightly out in front. Just to give a visual aid for that, this is your backhand contact point, slightly in front of your body, where your forehand contact point will be significantly more in front of your body. Folks, so now that we've made contact with the tennis ball slightly in front of our body, about hip height, we're going to talk about the extension and the follow through. So similar to the forehand mechanic, we do want to make sure to use our wrists to break up above the ball and through the ball. So in essence, once we get to the contact point, we're going to see the tip of our racket point towards our target, break up and through the court, with the ideal follow through being somewhere around your shoulder height. I think a lot of two-handers end up kind of bailing out on the shot, going for these sort of half swings. Unless you have great timing, great footwork, great preparation, it's not necessarily a great idea to cut your swing off and hit a half swing ground stroke. I would definitely recommend, once you're down here in the slot, in the contact point, extend as much through and towards the target as you possibly can. Now, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and see some of this in live action. That way we can see the various checkpoints. Feel free to freeze frame along the way. That way you can see a little bit more granularly the detail of the checkpoints related to the full, let's say, more fluid implementation of the stroke mechanic.